Hi everyone! Today's update gave Masterwork Bow a new passive effect. Let's talk about it. Before we get into the passive effect, let's just compare Masterwork Bow with Bow of the Last Guardian with Shard of Genesis. While they both have tier 100 damage and accuracy, there are a few differences. When using Elder God arrows, they both have tier 100 damage, but if you were to switch to Deathspore or Splintering arrows, Masterwork Bow actually drops to tier 95 damage, and when using Blackstone arrows, it will drop to tier 92 damage compared to tier 97 damage from Bow of the Last Guardian. I also noticed they recently updated their range to 9, so that's nice to see. For more details about the why, I've covered that in a previous video, so I won't talk about it here. With that out of the way, I will be comparing this passive effect with Vampyrism Aura. Vampyrism Aura gives more healing, but the maximum amount of healing per hit splat is 50. It does work with bleeds, but it does not work with poison. Let's experiment and see how the Masterwork passive works. Question 1. Does Masterwork Bow healing have a cap? Question 2. Do you heal from bleeds? Question 3. Do you heal from poison splats? Question 4. Will they stack with Vampyrism Aura? I don't know why it wouldn't, but I thought I'd test it. Question 5. Do you get healing when Wen Book activates? For the sake of it, let's test how much you can heal from bleeds, Gritco, and rapid fire while in the Death Swiftness. If it's not obvious by now, Bow of the Last Guardian with Shard of Genesis will obviously be more DPS than Masterwork Bow. But one benefit of the Masterwork Bow is if you need to pray deflection prayers, you will get some healing back without needing to rely on Soul Split. But how good is the healing of the Masterwork Bow in an actual boss encounter when compared to something like Saradomin Bow or Guthix Bows in Essence of Finality? If you know anything about my channel, I'm gonna go test this at Hard Mode Vorkath. Will the Masterwork Bow help with surviving Hard Mode Vorkath? Let's find out. With my Vorkath kill test, not having a special attack felt very weird to me, so I had to get used to that. Immediately, I already felt a huge DPS loss because I am unable to skip the Ice Spikes mechanic at the beginning. This forced me to use a long range strategy early on. Thank you for buffing the range to 9, Jagax. Throughout the fight, I noticed that despite my lower DPS, I found my sustain at the boss to be much better than when I used Bow of the Last Guardian. That isn't to say use Masterwork Bow instead, but it does put Masterwork Bow in a good spot if you don't have Bow of the Last Guardian. When comparing to my Saradomin and Guthix Bow healing on the other hand, it is pale in comparison. But when combined with them, it helps to sustain even more at Hard Mode Vorkath, maybe a little bit too much. In scenarios where you need to pray deflections instead of Soul Split, it's basically a free Vampyrism Aura healing. But I would not substitute that with Bow of the Last Guardian if you have it, unless you really have to. For now, I'll play the rest of the clip to show you the slow kill. If you want to skip ahead, timestamp would be displayed in the video.
Cut them down without mercy! Get up! I must to test my patience. Entomb this weakling upstart. gnawing pest. Do you bother to test me? Die!
What about Slayer? If you got Bow of the Last Guardian, the only thing you're doing is killing slower due to loss of the passive ability. What about AFK Slayer? Casparius, if you want to make sure you don't die, it can work, but really I could have just used Vampyrism Aura instead. Outside of Casparius, I can see this bow being solid for many AFK Slayer or low level boss scenarios since it's an off-brand Vampyrism Aura that lasts forever. That means you can go from needing to eat every now and then to never at all, or never needing to worry about keeping your prayer up for soul split healing. Here's my conclusion. This is a solid bow to use if you don't have Bow of the Last Guardian. The extra healing does add up and it makes things a little bit easier, especially if you're forced to use deflection prayers instead of soul split. But when comparing healing power, it does not come close to the healing power of Saradomin and Guthix Bow EoFs. Now that I think about it, this could have came in handy when I was doing unorthodox care pack. But switching to the Masterwork Bow is not only more annoying, but it also lowers your DPS because you lose your Bow of the Last Guardian's passive. For me, because I have Bow of the Last Guardian, I prefer switching to my healing EoFs and keeping my DPS from the Bow of the Last Guardian passive. Maybe in some niche situations like Basuda you can switch to it, but really, Masterwork Bow, in my opinion, better serves as an upgrade from lower tiers than something to switch to. Because it's like a permanent Vampyrism Aura, it does open a door to a lot less tedious AFK content, which I'm sure a lot of players will be exploring to find out. If this video helped you decide whether or not you should get Masterwork Bow, feel free to subscribe. This channel focuses a lot on range content. Thank you for watching, and bye bye.